Dear Mr. Mayor, dear Mr. Elisaf, I wanted to thank you very much on behalf of the whole group. We are a group of about 30 young and some older people from Germany and from Greece who met in Viza. We want to explore and hide the history of the beautiful region of Epirus. We are especially interested in learning more about the period of the Second World War, the dark period of the German occupation, the crimes committed to the civil society, the deportation and examination of the Jews from Ioannina. But we believe that future tasks go hand in hand with the responsibility that grows out of the past. That is the scope of this meeting, to bring young people who themselves are not to blame for the crimes and wrong decisions of their ancestors together to discuss the question of what responsibility they have as the younger generation today for positive development in our countries and between our countries. As far as we know, you do not belong to any political party. This is very unusual for Greece.
Particularly glad because for your visit here in our Holy Synagogue, especially since the audience are young people from Germany. This is the Holy Synagogue of Ioannina, the only synagogue of the city. This building is 200 years old building. It is a typical Roman synagogue since our community was the capital of the so-called Romaniote Judaism. This community has a history of at least 1,000 years. It's an old community.
Now we are in the Jewish quarter. It is in the castle there was the Jewish, the Christian and the Muslim quarter. It is a Byzantium Ottoman city. As you got in on your left side, it was a καφασωτό παράθυρο, wooden made window. This is the window that the women were coming inside and they could see the men sitting in the synagogue, but men could not see the women. Also, it was forbidden if the woman was a sex worker or a divorced woman. She could not enter in the synagogue. The rich Muslim and the rich Christian. They started living in the castle in 1611. Till then, the castle, it was only for Christians. But in 1611, it was a big rebellion that against the Turkish ruler, that finally it was they lost, and the Turkish came inside the castle, and also the Jewish only rich and Christian could live inside the castle. The first reference about synagogue, it was in 1879. The first entrance of the synagogue was here. Ήταν το In 1879, it was the entrance of the first synagogue here. It is called Minyan. It was still 10 persons, so we know it was a small community. After that was closed, they made the wall, and the synagogue in front, it was after 1611. Now we will see a typical house, how it was built after 1869. All there are stone made, so they could not be burned, and only the upper place, it was wooden made or stone made if they had money. Here it was the yard that the Jewish community were waiting to talk to the rabbi. This was the house of the rabbi. Here it was like thieves, non-working people, unemployment and something like this, that they were coming here. We say the rich was here, and the extremely poor was here. It was also in the night sex workers, it was land dealers and something like this. And of course this door was closing, and the rich people were getting out and could find employment people for jobs and something like this. Inside the castle, the rich people And now we are getting to the new rich people and to the extremely poor people. The Jewish community of Ioannina, as the stereotypes say that they were rich and something like this, only 10% had money to eat. All the other had to go to common common food giving. They were extremely poor. Only 10% of the community had money. So there is another one myth that it was like a rich community, the Jews are rich and something like this.
I think that Ioannina is the only Romanian Jewish community around the world today. In March 25, 1944, the Jewish community of Ioannina was arrested and sent directly to the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp.
The old elder's house, it was taken by the German police, and it was the place that they had the Jewish people to register that they are from Ioannina. Of course, they didn't know what will happen, but the pogrom, the Holocaust, was organized in this house.
Only 100 survived out of 1,850 people. And other 60 people went to the mountains with the resistance groups or followed an escape network from Ioannina, Athens area, Izmir, and Palestine. This network followed my parents and survived. After the Second World War, there was the Jewish 1945, 1946. The Jewish community of Ioannina was reestablished with 160 members only out of 2,000.
Here it was the building of Alliance Française and the new synagogue. It was this building, it was the Jewish building for the survivors that was built by the American Joint Jewish Organization.
It was a very difficult situation, especially for the surviving Jewish population. So many of them left the city either to Athens. In Athens, one of the two synagogues is the Ioannina Synagogue. It's the official synagogue of Athens. The second one is the Ioannina Synagogue for those people who immigrated from Ioannina to Athens, especially after the war. Or they went to Israel, to the new state of Israel, or to the United States. Thus, the number of the members of the community progressively declined, and now the community is a tiny community, a very small community with less than 50 members. And in the marble inscriptions, you have seen all the names of the 1,850 members of the community who died in the concentration camps. And you can see the names of my family from both mother and father. I have the honor and privilege to be the president of this Jewish community for approximately more than 20 years. I was an active citizen, so I was deeply involved in city affairs. I was member of the city council for many years. I was also president of the cultural center of the municipality of Ioannina, 2011-2014, and then 4 years ago, I decided to be the mayor of the city. It was a big and difficult decision, since, as you heard previously, I'm the first ever elected Jewish mayor in Greece, and possibly not only in Greece, and I'm the first and the last, I'm sure about it. Thessaloniki is impossible. I can sign this. You know that in Greece there is a growing anti-Semitism, but fortunately, I should tell the truth, It is a verbal stereotype anti-Semitism. It means that it is anti-Semitism that believes in stereotypes and hate speech, but it's not violent. So no one is afraid of being Jewish here, first of all in my city, but also in the country. So I elected as the mayor of the city, despite my religion, because I have worked hard in this city. I told you that I was professor of internal medicine for 20 years. So I have hospitalized at least half of the population during my career. My career as a doctor is about 40 years. And I have worked, I think successfully, but it's not, I had very good reputation in the society as a doctor, as a teacher. Then I was deeply involved in the city politics. I was not elected suddenly as, Moses will be elected. I had 20 years participation in the local society as a member of city council, as a member of other societies. So I was very well known in the society. People knew me and believed me and believed that I can succeed as a mayor of the city. I'm not a religious man. I have to separate religion from tradition. It's two different things. I'm Jew, I'm proud of being Jewish, but I'm not religious at all.
Is that common among the community? Like not being religious at all, but following the tradition?
I'm a secular leader of the community. I'm not religious at all. Also,
Just
the
like
other
you.
people of the community are secular. It's not a religious community at the moment. And I told you there are 50 people, and most of them are intermarriages. You understand that you cannot be a strict religious man and you are married with a Christian wife. It's impossible. It's so. It is a secular community.
Many religious Jews,
Yes.
as far as I know, they spend a lot of time with studying
to study the
Exactly,
Bible.
so-
No,
Torah.
I don't. I read about Jewish tradition, about Jewish civilization, but not religious books. I'm not Zionist. I told you I'm secular. I'm in Greek, 100% Greek city, well incorporated in the Greek society. I'm proud of being both Jewish and Greek. Many of young people during the 50s went to Israel and became Israeli citizens. We stay here. We studied here, we worked here. We love our country, we believe in our country, our buildings of our country.